Right then, lads and lasses, how we're doing, and welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all having a lovely day. It's a Monday, a new start to a week, and we've got some new Newcastle United transfer news. Welcome back to the Geordie Josh channel, and welcome back for 5 PM news. In today's daily news video, we've got a confirmed departure, as I'm sure you've all seen by now, especially by the thumbnail and the title, a confirmed new contract extension at the club, and although Callum Wilson, let's just spoil it already, because I mean, it is very sentimental and very emotional, isn't it? It had to happen, but what a player, and what a saving that man has been at Newcastle United. We will never forget when he signed in 2020 and basically was one of the only hopes under Steve Bruce and a very few other players. But, ladies and gentlemen, although Callum Wilson has basically just left the club or confirmed that he is leaving the club, it may have been in the pipeline with the club for a few days or a few weeks, however long, we don't know, but Newcastle United are already looking for a replacement, but believe it is borderline impossible to find a replacement for Callum Wilson. We'll get onto that at the end of the video. So if you do enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new for all Newcastle United content. Get that notification bell turned on so you are never late. Sorry I didn't upload yesterday, but hey, we're back today. Without further ado, let's get into it. So as we all know, it is confirmed by Newcastle United on their social media pages and also Callum Wilson on his social media pages. After 5 years on Tyneside, Callum Wilson's career at Newcastle United is over. The 33-year-old will not renew his contract at the club. He was actually offered a new contract. However, it wasn't just a normal, you're going to get paid this set amount every single week, as contracts regularly are. He was offered a pay-as-you-play contract, which essentially is an incentive-based one, where both parties know the player or whoever this may be. It's not just Callum Wilson. It is quite commonly used throughout the footballing world where the player is not guaranteed game time. So say if he gets subbed on or he starts whatever game, obviously not in the Premier League nowadays, but if he was to play, that's when he'd get paid. It's quite self-explanatory. But lads and lasses, what a player Callum Wilson was for this great football club. Let's not kind of get sucked up in the recent memories of him, because let's be real, it's got to be said bluntly, Callum Wilson was terrible last season, but I'm not holding that against him whatsoever. We probably both knew, and he knew himself, he's a man of his word. I mean, I think he knew that the football has kind of left him, as the saying goes recently, but let's not have some short memories. He was absolutely phenomenal for this football club. It goes without saying, if the injuries weren't reoccurring and consistently ruining him all the time, although he did come back better every single time, he could have been phenomenally successful. I mean, he was very successful. He got, 47 goals in 71 Premier League games for Newcastle. That's off the top of my head, so pat on the back if I've got that one right, and if I haven't, I look like an absolute idiot now. But he made his debut for England while not being at Newcastle United, but he did play for England while being at Newcastle United, just proving that he was such a great footballer, and we all know it. We don't have to pull up any stats. We've seen him in the flesh. When Callum Wilson was fit, there's no doubt about it, he was scoring goals. Moving away from Callum Wilson, and probably the last time we ever speak about him on the YouTube channel, so what a save, and it would be rude not to give him one of them. Absolute salute to that beautiful footballer. Anyways though, it has been reported by Craig Hope and Lee Ryder that there's a contract extension at the club. Not for Alexander Isak or any top player, it's for John Ruddy. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before you all start getting very angry, it has been reported that 38-year-old John Ruddy has signed a 1-year contract extension at the club. Now, let's get first things first. I mean, he's obviously never going to play for Newcastle United. Oh, the 45 minutes he got against, who was it? Stade Brestois or something like that, but he's not going to play for the club. He is just a very experienced player, great in training, according to Eddie Howe. In an old interview, I do believe in pre-season, but I mean, he sets the standards. That's what he said when he joined the club. He will set the standards, and I believe that. I mean, he's been around the game for nearly 20 years since he made his professional debut. He knows what he's doing for the young lads coming in. If we do sign James Trafford, that's literally an ideal sort of role model. Of course, James Trafford will certainly be better than John Ruddy, and arguably is better than John Ruddy ever was, but you can't buy experience. In John Ruddy's case, that's going to be invaluable to James Trafford and Nick Pope and Odysseus Vlachodimos and Mark Gillespie and Martin Dubravka. I should probably stop going on about goalkeepers, but you get the picture. John Ruddy signed a 1-year contract extension at the club, and it's not bad. I mean, it doesn't kind of negatively affect us in any way, shape or form, so I don't think we should be losing our heads over it. I mean, if it was Alexander Isak, it would have been better, but regardless. Anyways, on the Callum Wilson news, which I may have just lied. This is the last time we're speaking about Callum Wilson. Now, it was reported by Chris Waff of The Athletic that Newcastle United need to sign a striker or a versatile forward in the summer window, but believe it is borderline impossible to sign a player of calibre who was Callum Wilson's standard when he first joined the club in 2020. Now, I'm quite confused by this because The Athletic and Chris Waff, by the way, are very credible journalists, some of the best in the business, but why Newcastle United are going for a forward, obviously a striker, because Callum Wilson isn't a versatile forward, he was just an out-and-out striker. Why we are going for an out-and-out striker of Callum Wilson's calibre in 2020 is something very bizarre, unique, which I didn't think we'd be going for because, of course, in today's market, it's going to be very hard to sign a player who wants to play competing against Alexander Isak because, of course, if they are of Wilson's calibre in 2020, they're going to be a very, very good striker and they will want guaranteed game time. You can't get that when Alexander Isak's at the club because he is phenomenal. Do you know what I mean, lads and lasses? Yet again, though, while we are going for a player exactly of Callum Wilson's calibre back then, it's very, very strange. I mean, there's many sort of strikers on the market of every single calibre you can think of. Why would want one who's like a ready-made Callum Wilson replacement right now? I really do not know. And not to mention, we've got William Masula. I mean, he was on fire in the under-21 Euros, of course, for Denmark, although he didn't actually get much game time. Very effective when he came on, by the way. And we've seen some of that last season against Bromley and Birmingham in the FA Cup, even Ipswich, who, granted, aren't the Manchester Cities of the world, but if it's nothing to, you know, kind of get excited about, and let this be his breakthrough season where he's going to be turning 22 years old, he's not 18 or 17, he's not a youngster, he needs that game time, and I'm sure he would have been promised it somewhere along the line because in his second season, if he's not getting that game time, surely he's got to go out on loan. Yes, of course, we're playing on all four fronts, but William Masula will probably be seeing this as his breakthrough season. You know, scored in the Premier League, scored in the FA Cup, just came back from a pretty decent under-21 Euros campaign. He's going to want to be proving himself, ladies and gentlemen, and I believe, in my opinion, he's got every right to do so. I always wanted to play him, with all due respect to Callum Wilson, play him ahead of Callum Wilson last season. Of course, that will happen this season, but not if we're going to sign a versatile forward who looks like he's going to be coming in for good money. Also, I know I did mention this, but it's literally been reported in the article. Strikers will not, by Chris Waff and The Athletic, will not want to compete with Alexander Isak. I guess that's kind of it's not a blessing in disguise, but it does let us know that Alexander Isak, as we all bloody know, ladies and gentlemen, is a phenomenal striker, well known in the footballing world, let's just say that. But there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've all enjoyed today's daily news video. As we know, Callum Wilson is leaving Newcastle United after half a decade. What a footballer, what a career, and what a man as well. He always seems like a very, very nice man. On the Newcastle United footballers' Instagram stories, Anthony Gordon, Sven Botman, Joe Willock, just to name a few, pretty much all of them, and I know you've got to say some nice things when your teammate of a very long time is leaving your football club. You're not going to say them for a very long time, and they will be good mates, but there's a very common theme. All of them are saying, like, he's one of the best guys they've ever been with in football. Pretty much tells a story about Callum Wilson. To have that mentality to suffer all of them injuries, and by God, there's been a lot of injuries, to come back and just about better himself every single time is phenomenal. Yes, they've been annoying, but he's not been annoying. He's been a bloody good footballer, and it is the right time to leave because I think we all know it's not prime Callum Wilson, but we're not going to let that ruin it. What a footballer, what a story, and what a career at Newcastle United. John Ruddy has signed a one-year contract extension at the club, and Newcastle are currently struggling to find a Callum Wilson replacement. Do we need one? Callum William Masula lead the line next season behind Alexander Isak in the pecking order? Fingers crossed. I've been Geordie Josh. If you did enjoy the video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe if you are new for all Newcastle United content. I've been Geordie Josh. Go and enjoy your day, people.